Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Boxing Unwrapped. It's Boxing Unwrapped, the boxing podcast that cuts deeper than Otto Wallin's fists. I'm Ryan.
And his thumb, especially his thumb. I'm Andrew.
His thumb. And welcome to What the F is the Boxing News, guys, the boxing podcast that always delivers a barking dog in the background. So, Andy, do you want to tell the good people what we've got in store for them?
Oh, yes, I do. We're back. We've got a deranged, small but vocal dog going absolutely spare. We're going to look at the results from last weekend, and there were a few to go over. Less impressive is the fights coming up this weekend, but we will make reference to them, or will we? What the F went wrong last week, and something of a disaster to report. Mm-hmm. We've got as much random news as you can shake a barking dog at, and we will, of course, talk about what grinds our gears and a little bit of listener corner.
Right, well, let's dive right in then, Andy, to what the F are the results from last week.
Should I do it in the style of the last few furlongs of a horse race? And on Friday night, the Zone Sports, guys, we're two from stateside, Devin Haney versus fourth round stoppage, and he's called out Lomachenko. That was that top.
I like it. I like it.
It wasn't comprehensible, was it?
No, it wasn't, but it was fast.
It was fast.
It was fast.
I need to work on like the delivery, you know, in terms of enunciation at pace. It's difficult.
Yeah, at pace.
Do you want to start on the Friday night then? So we'll
yeah, I think we have to.
We can build up to the main talking point of the weekend. You know, to the crux of the matter.
Indeed. So Devin Haney versus Abdullaev. Sky Sports DAZN. Boom, 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 and it's over.
Haney's hot right now. Devin Haney is, as we've talked
so
about.
Hot.
He's moved definitely now from prospect to contender. Even though I think he's a youthful 20 years old, he is banging people left, right, and centre. And the boy Abdullaev was reasonable level, and he destroyed him in 4 rounds.
Yeah, he did, and he's quick. He looks good.
He's slick.
I don't know if you've noticed.
Slick.
He's really slick. I don't know if you've noticed that actually. Now this could be a typical box rec being box rec, but he's already got a TBA opponent on the 9th of November.
Okay.
At the Staples Center.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. So whether or not it has anything to do with Lomachenko needing a takeover fight before his fight against Comey.
It's a bit risky.
So, against Devin Haney, it's super risky. But I wouldn't put it past Lomachenko or Bob Arum to do it, actually.
Maybe.
You know, because Lomachenko's never going to turn away a big fight, and the two other guys that are the big fights that he wants are fighting each other. So he's got to kind of wait until those two fight for his fight with them next year, and he'll want another fight this year, probably with opposition that's a lot higher level than Crolla and Campbell.
Well, that's a bit harsh. I don't think there is anyone. Well, Campbell's about as good as he's about the best, as good as the best of the rest. Really,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just looking. I was seeing if there was anything on the interweb about this as we were speaking. The WBC will next month at their convention determine the situation between Lomachenko and the interim champion, which is Devin Haney. Suleiman points out that Devin is not the WBC mandatory to face Lomachenko. He's the interim. And even if he was, the WBC won't call the Lomachenko-Haney fight until after the fight between the winner of Comey and Lopez and Lomachenko. So, I don't know. That doesn't really shed a lot of light, apart from that maybe he's not going to be him, but don't know. I don't know who Lomachenko's going to fight. He can't really fight Puddings. It's not like everyone knows how good he is. So, but does he really want to fight someone that's a risk anyway? Vishad C. What did you make of the result? Now hold on. Did we both call this? No, I think I called this right. Did I? Did we pick a side each, or did we both say Hunter versus Kuzmin? Do you remember?
Oh, I think I said Kuzmin, actually.
I think you did as well.
I think I did.
I tell you what, we should start putting more money on these. My record's stellar, I think.
Yeah, I would be losing my house. There wouldn't be a dog in the background because I will have had to have sold him for like food, fur. I'd be wearing my dog to keep warm.
One sock. It's a really good sock. So Hunter dropped Kuzmin in the 5th on way to a 117-110 unanimous decision on all 3 cards. Dominant performance from Hunter, although Kuzmin showed quite a lot of heart at various points in the fight. But he was fairly dominated, and I think Hunter's... I don't know quite where I want to put him is. I'd say he's like, you're not fancying many of the sort of fringe top 10 guys against him, I think, on the basis of his last couple of wins. I think you're talking about a fighter ranked at or near the top 10 now in the heavyweight division. He's got some skills. Nice mover.
Soon to be named Dave Allen's next opponent, probably.
He would destroy Dave Allen. Dave Allen does not want a bit of Hunter, I don't think. But maybe he does.
Well, I think so.
He takes on anyone, but he'd get his ass handed to him, I think. Well, I'm almost certain he would. The DAZN Sky Sports News the DAZN Sky Sports card from Saturday night. Jaime Mungia.
Good old Jaime, man.
Well,
good old Jaime.
So we were a bit concerned for him because he was fighting Patrick Olotti, who is a Ghanaian boxer, but not a very good Ghanaian boxer. So Mungia was back to his usual destructive self, where he is like ridiculously oversized for the weight, and he bowled Olotti out in the 4th round of this particular mismatch.
Well, it's a shame for all of Ghana, I think, to be honest. Because we know that they're really good, but these guys are just... Maybe they're picking the wrong Ghanaians for these fights. Yeah?
It sounds like a kind of offbeat novel title. The wrong Ghanaians.
The wrong Ghanaians. It's like a B movie starring Dolph Lundgren.
This time they picked the wrong Ghanaians. Oh, man. And your boy Ryan Garcia had the evening off unexpectedly.
Well, yeah, it's a shame actually, because I do wish we could have seen him in action.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, he is arrested for something that only a professional boxer would do.
Yes.
He would brandishing a firearm at a woman.
Yes, this is classic boxer behaviour. We should say, just to be clear, this is his opponent Avery Sparrow that was arrested for doing this, not Ryan Garcia himself. So his opponent was the firearm at female brandishing, not him. It's such a cliche. Do you know?
Such a cliche.
Before they do it, I wonder if they ever go, do you know what? This is a bit of a cliche. I'm not sure this is how I want to go down. Like, why don't I do something totally ridiculous? Like, get arrested for like blocking an oil tanker or something as a boxer. Why don't they ever do that?
Totally. Like Ryan Garcia, empty podiums him at the weigh-in.
Oh, me.
Imagine that, you're just standing there in your pants waiting for another man to turn up and he never does.
I know. He was like, where is he? I'm like, did no one tell you? Like, he got arrested. Like, what? Yeah, he got a bit arrested. Like, for fuck's sake, man. Who am I fighting now? You're fighting no one. Hence the empty podium. Maybe he should have fought. They should have flown in the Prime Minister of Luxembourg because he also was stood next to an empty podium.
I know. Oh, that was fucking classic, by the way. Oh. What great... Now, Luxembourg, cheeky bastards, man. That is some great fucking diplomacy, right?
I know. That was a kind of classic textbook stitch-up, was it?
Oh man, when you're getting bammed up by Luxembourg, you know shit's going down.
The EU are like, we've had enough of this. Who can like throw some humiliation on this, but is not sort of one of the main boys, and we can kind of distance ourselves from him doing it afterwards. Right, Luxembourg, you're up. Do your worst.
You're up.
Do your worst. Have a crack at this. What are you thinking? Oh, the empty podium gag. That's a brilliant one. Let's do it.
That's a great one. Do it. You got Michel Barnier in the back going, make him look like a total prick.
Good one. It was good. It was funny. It was funny.
It was funny.
The Saturday night BT card from York Hall, was it? Sonny Edwards versus Rosendo Hugo Guarneros.
And Sonny Edwards does it. Points win. You know, doing the business.
Easy peasy.
Easy fucking peasy, man. Easy fucking peasy.
Classy. He's a classy little boxer.
He is, man. He is. And the thing is, like, he'll probably he's really young, so he'll have like the ability to go up the weights as he ages, I think. And if he keeps going on this trajectory, I think he'll do well.
Yeah, agree.
You know,
got some mad skills.
Mad skills.
He's elusive, isn't he? He's 23, but like happy to box on the back foot, hit and don't be hit. The classic boxing stylist.
Yeah, it's nice. He's your kind of real classic,
boxer.
Kind of punch and move kind of bloke. I really like him actually. Mm-hmm. He's really slick style. You know, he's fighting decent opposition at his weights. You know, so it's not like he's totally padded. You can totally tell he's got a really good amateur background as well. Just the way that he kind of handles himself in fights. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I like him. I do like him. It's funny how like him and his brother on the different promoters though, you know?
Yes, I suppose it is actually. I hadn't thought of that really. I hadn't given it any thought.
You know? It's funny.
They can compare notes, I would have thought.
Yeah, totally. Who's doing what best?
Yeah. How much are you getting for that? Did you get that much? I didn't get that much. Really, that much? Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
The main supporting fight, which was a complete non-event, went exactly as we here at Boxing Unwrapped predicted it would. Emmanuel Navarrete versus Juan Miguel Elorde. Emmanuel Navarrete, who fought a month ago, blasted through the overmatched Elorde in a fourth round, completely one-sided affair, and added absolutely no interest or drama to what we thought was going to be an equally uninteresting and undramatic main event. Ryan.
I know. Well, do you know what? I think this was like. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Fury versus.
I think we should.
Otto, as all of the fucking guys wanted to keep saying, his name's Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin. But I don't understand this because he's Swedish, so they don't use that W for a V. As far as I was aware, but maybe
I didn't realize you were like a kind of
linguistic
expert.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, a little bit, you know, in my spare time, But okay, now we all expected a very different fight to this.
Yeah, I thought there was a guy called Tyson Fury who was good at boxing fighting.
Man, I know. I don't understand now. There's all this chat. You know, his dad came out absolutely raging afterwards, like furious.
Fury by name, Fury by nature.
Aye, totally, man, totally.
I actually agree with quite a lot he said, but we can get into that in a bit. But yeah, I actually, yeah. Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, so And I agree as well. But I think that I wonder if stuff's going to come out deeper about the camp than there was. Now, I like Ben Davidson. I think Ben Davidson has a nice boxing brain. Now, we talked a little bit after the fight. I think they need to start bringing some science, like sports science, into Fury's training, so he doesn't look like an absolute marshmallow every time he goes to fight.
Yeah, well, I think there's also the point of it beyond the aesthetic, which is obviously not that important, but what that's indicative of is that, he just looks to have, an absolute power deficit.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Like, really, I know it's, the sport is boxing, not punching, but it's heavyweight boxing. You're supposed to be able to knock the other guy the fuck out on occasion, and he just looks so underpowered when he's hitting people, hitting them with cleanish shots, and it's just not really having that much impact. Like, because that guy Wallin wasn't that difficult to hit. If he'd been in with a bigger puncher, like obviously like a Wilder or a Joshua, I think either of them would have bowled him out in like a few rounds. I don't think they'd have ended up in this like turgid battle to the finish that Fury did. I honestly think they would have like clipped him a couple of times and he would have been like lights out.
Absolutely, because the thing is, like, I like, other than the bit where Wallin like ripped open the cut with his hand, which is very, very naughty. Like, for a while, he wasn't really making the best of that gaping wound on Fury's face.
Well, I totally agree.
Like, his game plan should have been, I will do whatever I can to punch that cut as much as I possibly can. The whole time during this fight, I will do whatever I can to get close and just make that cut as open as it can so the ref or the doctor stops this fight.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. The thing that I found amazing was like the cut was in the third round, right? I mean, you think like that cut was so catastrophic, and there was a lot of chat, on social media and on the reports and stuff, like comparing it to the situation where there was the Klitschko-Lewis fight, and Klitschko had the massive gash in his eye. And it really didn't look that dissimilar to this one. I mean, this was a mega cut, wasn't it? And it was just in that position where each additional contact just goes reek, 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 reek. So it's just it's just bursting open. And do you think, well, he had that to, you land a couple, one or two big punches on that, and he had 9 rounds to do it. And it would have been, they would have had to have stopped it because his face would have been hanging apart. Like, I mean, it was pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, 40 stitches or something at the end.
Fucking hell, yeah, I know.
It was a serious.
There were 2. There was the cut on the eyelid as well. I mean, it looked at a right mess. And I think, obviously, there's been a lot of chat, and a lot of the ex-boxers have weighed in on this as well, saying that he was incredibly lucky for the fight not to have been stopped on the basis of that cut, because it was so bad.
I think if it wasn't Tyson Fury and it wasn't in Las Vegas and Bob Arum wasn't as powerful as he is, I think actually that fight would have been stopped, because it was a catastrophic cut. And like they're talking about like this cut being so bad that it's going to impact the Wilder fight date. Because it's going to take that long to heal. And this is the type of thing as well that's like, unless that heals really, really well, it's the type of thing that like it will continue to open now.
Because it's the scar tissue, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about with this, actually, but one of the things that I found odd, and it's maybe like a lack of understanding on my part, was that after the cut, Fury seemed so determined to be like leaning and grappling with Wallin and fighting up super, super close. But Wallin, obviously, while I was doing that, was looking for ways to like rub and bump and scrape against his cut. But I don't understand why that was Fury's tactic. I know he was trying to like wear him down by leaning on him and stuff, but why not just like box his ears off from 9 feet away like you can do with your size advantage? Why wasn't he doing that for the rounds?
I don't know. I don't know if this was something to do with the way that they've approached the fight for like fan value or something.
But you think because like at that point you need to get through it. There's a jeopardy there of not getting through the fight or not winning it because the cut was counted as a punch, which it was.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know if like they just had the wrong game plan, or like if he was just ignoring Ben Davidson's game plans, and I also don't think that they were being particularly honest with him about how bad the cut was.
No, maybe we couldn't see it. They're saying stay calm. It's okay. There's another interesting point which I think it's worth talking about, and that is about how the referee initially confirmed to the corner that it was an accidental clash that caused the cut, and then using the replay, it was then confirmed that the cut was actually caused by a punch, and therefore that would have that obviously that has a big impact in terms of if the fight stopped, it goes from a decision that goes to the cards to the fight being stopped. Wallin is awarded the victory, so it's obviously critically important. And and this is really interesting that happened. So for anyone that's not watched it, so the commentators or the ringside analyst for the broadcast channel, they think that they overheard the fact that Fury's corner, that Davison was under the impression, because the referee gave him that impression, that the fight was caused by a head clash. And then that decision gets changed, but the corner don't seem to have that information. So the ringside analyst for the ESPN broadcast then goes and tells Ben Davison on camera during a round, he's like, by the way, that's been ruled as, did you know it's been ruled as a punch, not a cut, not a punch, not an accidental clash? And he's like, no, it was ruled as a clash. He's like, no, it's been reversed by the Nevada Commission oversight on replay. They're saying it's been ruled as a punch, therefore, if it stopped, the opponent will be awarded the victory. And Davidson's trying to like process this while pay attention to Fury during a round. He's like, what the fuck? But I mean, so I read an article that was critical of ESPN for this type of intervention, but it's kind of...
But I mean, the thing is, of course they're going to intervene because that's their fucking money like machine, isn't it?
Well, also it makes kind of good TV. To have him on, but something's gone terribly wrong there in terms of the communication channels for the broadcast to be doing the work of whatever representative of the governing body or the referee should be doing to say this is the current status of this decision. So
because it was under the WBC, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that's why they have this. So it should be whoever the WBC fight supervisor is should be informing the corners.
The corners and the referee, make sure everyone's on the same page. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what should have happened, but it was like the broadcast instead. I mean, and it definitely was a punch that caused the cut. But so that was an interesting aspect to it. I mean, it was quite dramatic. It was quite interesting. I thought Wallin did a good. I thought he did very well because I think he is a very limited boxer, but I think he had quite for a lot of the time he had quite a decent game plan. He seemed to be timing his body shots really well, I thought. He did a little bit of the dark art stuff pretty nice as well. He ruffled Fury quite well, I thought.
And I think as well to be to pull out those kind of dark arts and kind of show, well, actually, do you know what? Like, I am going to go through this in every way that I possibly can in order to win. I really respect that. Like, on the flip side, no way in hell should Tyson Fury be anywhere near getting beat off this guy. Now, obviously, a cut is unfortunate. Especially so early in, but it's because you've been clipped hard in the right location that you've got this cut. And also, I think we talked about this after the Wilder fight, but there's like criticism to be had about his cut man, about their use of like Vaseline in the right locations.
Oh, because that was a recurring thing throughout the fight, was it? I don't know if it was the same person who's doing the cuts as it was then. I can't remember, but yeah, he was going back out for the rounds with like half a tub of Vaseline on his face, and it's like,
and he should have had enough Vaseline in and around his face so that he's not marking up so early in the fight.
Well, that was a criticism from the Wilder fight, wasn't it? I mean, a lot of the stuff I've read is saying that the cut man in this particular fight actually did a pretty decent job for it not to be like streaming blood. But I'm not knowledgeable enough to know. But certainly it was a pretty mega wound. But yeah, there was 2 or 3 of the rounds he went back out with like giant globs of Vaseline, which was clearly not going to be permitted. So it's kind of like why, or maybe they did it on purpose to waste time or something. I don't know. But yeah, the tactics were really strange. I thought he was always like a lot of like holding and spoiling and like using his size to lean on, but properly rocked in the 12th as well. Fury was, and I don't know. I don't know whether it's like an off night or something was wrong with the regime. But maybe he can change the regime. But he definitely needs some like very focused like strengthening stuff to get back into shape. Or because to me he looked kind of shot. He looked like a spent fighter.
I know what you mean. Like he didn't seem. Well, and we've got to remember, like his last fight didn't go the distance. Didn't go far. He's not up against really like difficult opposition. I think that he might actually find like stepping into the ring with Wilder again very, very difficult because the fighters that he's been against are just so shit. Because we'll probably inevitably have another shit fighter before the Wilder fight as well, because he'll probably fight again in like December.
Well, they're saying the cuts are going to take too long to heal. I don't think he's going to fight again. I think Aram said he won't fight him again. He's not going to fight. That's him until the Wilder fight. But I mean, I don't know. It's either something was wrong, which is fixable, or if it's not, then he looked. I thought really like nothing there. Like he wasn't particularly elusive. He had absolutely no power, and he seemed to like tire badly. So his punch resistance wasn't very good. So I don't know. I thought it was very worrying if you're associated with him, unless there's some kind of crazy turnaround to be had. I think he looked really a bit of a shadow of his former self, to be honest. But we'll wait and see. But no, I don't. He looked real bad, and I don't rate Wallin. I think he was very game, but I don't think he looks like a top level fighter at all. I think he would get bowled out by the top 10.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
It really, yeah.
Right, well, then let's move on, Andy, to everybody's favourite new segment.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The 6 Degrees of Danny Williams.
I've forgotten about this. I keep forgetting that we do.
We forget every week. We forget every week. On purpose, I think.
Yeah.
So, this week, Andy.
It's like a source of trauma for me.
We're going to go from Mr. Danny Williams to Mr. Dave Allen.
Danny Williams has he fought David Price?
No, he hasn't fought David Price.
It'd be too easy, wouldn't it?
It'd be too easy.
Is David Price one of the steps? He must be. Or you must be able to do it that way because he's fought loads of guys.
I mean, can you do it that way, actually? Well, I mean, I suppose you could do, but it would be a very roundabout way. I don't know if you do it in 6 that way.
Yeah, of course you would. There must be loads of ways to do it from Dave Price. Just obviously none of them are thinking right now at this exact second. They fought. Is it Luis Ortiz one of the steps?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably could go via Luis Ortiz. Take a look. Oh yeah, you could actually go by Luis Ortiz if you wanted.
Okay. Well, I can't, in the absence of being able to think of the other one. Luis Ortiz. And then I want to say he fought Christian Hammer not that long ago. I think Danny Williams has fought Christian Hammer as well.
Yes, it did fight Christian Hammer. Yes, you can go that way. Yeah, so well done. Yes, absolutely. Yes. There's some other ways you could have gone via Luis Ortiz. You could have gone by Tony Thompson.
David Allen fought Tony Thompson.
No.
So
you could have. Once you get to Luis Ortiz,
right,
you could have gone to Tony Thompson.
Right. Okay.
And that would have taken you out via Klitschko.
What? You totally confused me. Do that again. So where am I going? Dave Allen.
So you could have gone Dave Allen, Luis Ortiz, Tony Thompson, Klitschko, Danny Williams.
Right. Okay.
The way that I had done it is Danny Williams has fought Derek Chisora.
I was thinking about
who's fought Dillian White, who's also fought Dave Allen.
I was thinking about Derek Chisora, but I forgot that Allen had fought White, even though we talked about it like a few episodes ago because the punch count was so high. I'd forgotten that. That would have that would have been nice.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. Anyway,
so there are a number of ways to do it, but just again to say that Danny Williams is connected with every motherfucker in boxing because he's fought everybody. So let's move on to what the F are the fights this weekend.
I've got a shocker for you, Ryan.
What's that?
Well, like, unless I'm missing something, there aren't any. Not that there's no boxing fights, but there's none of any note that anyone will have heard of or care about, as far as I can see. If anyone has got any they want to flag, then by all means let us know, but I can find nada of interest.
Well, there is one.
Quinlan
that's next weekend.
I've got Quinlan versus Angulo.
There is that. That's about it. But that's it. However, next weekend we've got a bumper, so don't you worry, guys. You just hold in there, because we've got Friday night and Saturday night boxing.
Yeah.
So there we go, and then it all opens up in October. It's busy month.
Oh, October, yeah. October's going down, yeah. Lots going on.
So let's move on then to what the F went wrong last week.
Just a slight issue.
What's that, Andy?
The episodes disappeared from the interweb.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with our host. I'm gonna have to make some calls around the internet. Doesn't look good, actually. I'm supposed to be like a fucking web guy, and I can't host the podcast right. But it will be sorted. Promise.
We're not entirely sure, so if anyone has managed to listen to last week's episode, then by all means let us know that you did, because I went to listen to it today to review for this very segment, dear listeners, and it won't let me listen to it on a variety of different platforms, so something has gone desperately
But it
wrong.
does say that people have listened to it.
Yeah,
this is the thing.
So I think it might
odd.
be a temporary thing, but anyway, it's very strange. So the episode from last week is currently disappeared.
Unavailable.
But by the time you're listening to this, it'll probably be back up and working.
Yeah, totally. Right, well, then let's move on to random news.
Yeah, so we mentioned this when we were doing the review of the Fury-Wallin fight, that Fury's dad, John, was one of the... Was he on the doing the analysis at the table on the chair for the BT box office coverage? And he was fairly... I thought he was quite insightful, but he was very critical of Fury and said he looked like he had the strength of a kitten. He punched something. He made a reference to him looking like a kitten, or like punching like a kitten, being powerless really. And his camp had obviously gone horribly wrong, and he's too light, and they need to scrap his entire team, or else he will be finished, is what his dad said, in none too uncertain terms.
Well, and I kind of agree with some of it. I mean, like, I think that Ben Davidson does have a very good boxing brain. right? Like, I think he's very insightful, and he sees a lot of stuff, and a lot of times you hear him in corners or in commentary, and he says stuff, and you're like, fuck, I did not see that. That is very, very smart. However, he does not strike me as the man who goes, do you know what we need to do? Is we need to bring, like, science into this equation.
Yeah.
You know, I think
totally.
I think the training is very much like Rocky 6. You know, and I think that's where, like, you know, for him to lose more weight, but like to still look so marshmallowy, like there's a problem in that training. And I know that, like, Tyson Fury's all like, oh, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I'm not body beautiful. I'm a boxer. Blah blah blah. Absolutely great. However, you need to, like, be able to hurt someone when you're punching them. That's what boxing's about, you know?
Yeah, and he's still, if you look back, he's still, he was in, like, much better shape when you saw him at his peak for the Klitschko fight. And so, there's no reason why, like, that type of body shape is no longer attainable for him. It doesn't really matter about his body shape, but the problem is a power deficit. And I think, we were speaking about it during the week, but, like, there's no reason why he can't get involved. I think he's, like, very, like, one of these old school suspicious of it, but, like, some proper, like, analytics and some, like, data driven sports science decision making around his, like, fitness and nutrition and strength and conditioning and stuff, I think would have substantial impacts. There was a thing come out saying that he was drinking beers the night before the Wilder fight, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck, man? And
I know.
You know, and he's saying, like, oh, his dinners in the camp for the build up to this was like he'd have like a steak and mashed potato. But, like, I'm sure, I don't know, like, you'd know more about this than me, but I don't think mashed potato probably doesn't really feature, does it? It's not like, I wouldn't say that's, like, optimal in terms of, like, a nutritionist isn't going to pick that, are they?
I wouldn't say it's their go-to, you know.
So I don't know, and I think he needs to do something about his power.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree. It's no good. It's no good.
We've got a few other bits. Anything that catch your eye, Ryan? Whoa.
Obviously, we need to talk a little bit about the Canelo-Kovalev thing happening, right? And being confirmed. Because, like, I want to watch the fight, but at the same time, I don't want to watch the fight because I'm pretty sure that they'll have arranged it so, like, Kovalev is basically fighting with one arm tied behind his back. Or, like, Canelo gets a step stool throughout or something.
He's got, like, platform shoes on.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, when Sefer Safiri fought Tyson Fury and he had, like, basically platform boots on? It'll be like that. Yeah, I think it'll definitely be the same.
Oh, me. So I saw, you know, occasionally where you see, like, there's so much kind of, like, guff and kind of vitriol stuff on Twitter, but then occasionally someone says something and you're like, oh, well, that's actually quite interesting. So the thing that the person said was that at above super welter, Canelo hasn't stopped a top level opponent, and Kovalev's not stopped anyone for X number of years, like 3 years or something. And it's like, well, therefore, Kovalev's going to need to win like 8 or 9 rounds to get the decision. But it also means it's very likely to go the distance, is basically what the point was. I think, well, I don't know. Is he really going to be able to cope with that size disadvantage for 12 rounds?
No. Well, it depends on, like, because this obviously gives, like, and we don't know what level of drug testing is being taken during this, right? We don't know because, like, I mean, Canelo's going to be using his Mexican butchers, like, and I think he's going to come in looking fucking heavy, man. He's going to come in as heavy as he can be for this fight.
I was just double checking what I said about the Kovalev knocking someone out. Obviously, he did knock out Yard in his last fight, but he hasn't knocked out like a kind of reasonably high level guy for a while. 3 years. So, anyway. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Canelo's really going to put on the weight. Fucking hell.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to. Because otherwise, like, Kovalev's just going to lean up against him.
I know. You think he's going to be able to grind him down. Anyway, it's kind of like a bit of a freak show thing, but also because they are high-level fighters, like very high-level fighters, it's going to be interesting. I personally don't have that much of an issue with it, especially because it's on DAZN, so it's not going to be a pay-per-view. It's a bit odd. I'd rather see him fight, like, if he wants to fight a light heavyweight, I think there are, what people won't probably acknowledge that are very casual fans is that there are obviously better light heavyweights. So Canelo is kind of, cherry picking is not quite the right word, but he's not saying I want to beat the best light heavyweight. And you know, I think it would be acknowledged that, like, if he fought someone like Callum Smith at super middle, that would be a probably substantially more difficult challenge. Or if he fought someone like, he could fight Bivol or Gvozdyk or someone, you know, like a light heavy if he wanted a in the prime fighter rather than a declining fighter. So, but anyway, I don't have that much of an issue with it. It'll be interesting to watch, I think, and they are both, you know, high level fighters, so I'm okay with it, broadly speaking. Which I'm sure they'll be happy to hear. I'm sure that's it. They've definitely done it. They're definitely doing the job now. Like, De La Hoya he texted me a wee while ago and said, "Are you okay with this, Andrew?" And I said, "Yeah, I am. Oscar, crack on. It's okay." He's like, he sent me a few emoji.
Oh, he's like, oh, all right then.
Get it in the diary then. Watson's okay with it.
Wow. So that's happening. Now, we've talked about this before, and I'm confused. Okay, that Porter and Spence is going to be on Sky Sports Action, right? But it's Fox.
Yes.
And I don't understand why this isn't ITV and free.
Yes.
Because do you know what I mean? Because like they're all
that was the hookup.
Top Rank. That was the hookup.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't understand it. It's weird. I mean, it's good to know that we're not going to be paying for it, but like but it's not going to be free to air in the same way. You know?
Yes. So
which is a bit shit.
I thought. Yeah. So Spence and Porter are both PBC fighters.
Yes, they are.
Is that right?
That is right. That is right. Because both of those gentlemen have fought for free on ITV.
Aha.
Right?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, they are in this deal. Unless... so I don't understand how them fighting each other comes as another deal. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I really don't get it.
I agree. It's odd. Yeah, obviously it's to do with money, but yeah, it does seem it's a bit annoying for people because it was totally free and accessible on ITV, which is obviously not quite now. But anyway, it's a bit of a shame. But that's what's going on, and that's next weekend, not the weekend coming, but next weekend.
Yes, which will be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you've highlighted something very interesting. Relating to Prograis.
Yeah, so this is a quote from Sutherland regarding some of the criticism that was made about the World Boxing Super Series, and as we spoke about, Prograis had said he released a statement saying he was pulling out of it for breach of contract. So Sutherland, in a sort of like semi-flippant way, has addressed what had happened in that situation. And this is what he said. This was a Prograis, and I think it was. And I'm not sure who else he was referring to, if it was Taylor or not, but he was saying about how both were non-champions going into the tournament, so their value is a certain amount. As he goes through the tournament, his value rose, and of course he got a call saying, "How's your contract?" They served a writ, and they called it a breach of contract. It was the fastest lawsuit in history, 6 days. It was the same with Baranchek. They didn't want to come over. So I think it's kind of like it's not quite cryptic, but it's also not like very explicit what he's saying. But if I'm interpreting it correctly, what he's saying with regards to Prograis is they're offered the contract for the 3 fights, the quarters, the semi, and the final at the beginning, and then when they win a belt, they progress in the tournament, then, if you like, their quote-unquote value has increased because of that progression, because of winning a belt. And at that point, they get someone contacting them or someone in their ear saying, well, look, you're now in a stronger position, so you should renegotiate your contract, even though it's supposed to have a watertight contract. So that he's saying they find some spurious reason to accuse the World Boxing Super Series of some form of breach of contract, or find something. Maybe there is some semi-truth in it in terms of finding something that wasn't quite done correctly, so that they can then say breach of contract to then be in a position to renegotiate the terms of the contract for their continued participation in the tournament, obviously at a higher revenue level. It's a more sophisticated way of doing the same thing that Derek Chisora did in his news conference.
Yeah, indeed. Although I like the Derek Chisora way of doing things.
Yeah,
to be honest,
that's more entertaining.
Have you seen all the memes that he shared on Instagram?
I saw one.
They're great, and it's like him with big bottles of Vaseline and stuff, like rubbing it off his arse. Like he's a clever guy. He's clever.
So yeah, I mean, the thing with the prograde, I think we'll never know. I guess that's obviously Saralin's side of it. I'm sure prograde would stick by that it was different to that, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly is interesting. They're saying it's the part of it is because you're not like it's just tied in for one fight. There's the opportunity for this kind of shenanigans to take place. But because we spoke about it, and I was pretty much saying 100% that's him over, it's done, he's not going to participate. It sounded really final, like it wasn't going to be resolved, and then all of a sudden he's like sat back there going, yeah, I'm going to fight him now. So yeah, a bit of an unusual one, but maybe this is closer to the truth. I don't know, but it was interesting.
Agree.
To get the insight for Sarlin to spew it out.
Agree. And obviously Anthony Crolla is retiring.
Yes.
Final hoorah in November at the Manchester Arena.
Nice.
But the thing is, what I think is quite funny about this is he's not the most interesting fighter on the card.
Go on.
Right? Well, because Katie Taylor's fighting on the same card.
Is that the same card?
It's the same card.
Right, okay.
So, like, I don't know, is this like a testimonial for Anthony Crolla, do you think? Like, get a bunch of cash in the bag for him? It's like a whip round for Anthony.
Do boxers get testimonials? Nice.
It's the only thing I can think of. It's like, all right, look, like Anthony's retiring. He's not quite as $1 million as he used to be. So let's do a little whip round for him. Katie, do you want to fight this bird? You'll knock her out in 2.
Nice, I like it. Good thinking. What else? There's been chat about the next season of the World Boxing Super Series. And they're talking about potentially a middleweight tournament. I don't know how that's going to work. Super flyweight, a one of the women's divisions, and interestingly, a heavyweight division. But they're saying the top heavyweights probably wouldn't take part, but you're kind of like a lot of your sort of second tier heavyweights would maybe be taking part, and because it's heavyweights, there would be enough interest for it to be viable.
I mean, of course, it would be a lovely solution, right? To like the Wilder, AJ, Fury not fighting each other thing, right? But like they're never going to go into the World Boxing Super Series.
It's not even under contention that they would go in. It's known that they would not be participating. They're saying
so exactly. So what's the point? Do you know?
Just a bit of interest. It's kind of like
light heavy.
It's kind of like
light heavy.
It would be like, I know, it's never going to happen. It would be like the League Cup. It would for the heavyweights.
League Cup.
The League Cup. The Heavyweight World Boxing Series Super Series League Cup.
And exactly, it's just a load of bollocks. Like I mean, middleweights. You know that they're not going to get the best middleweights.
No.
Right. So what's the point in, like, it would be good, it's good when they do weight classes that people don't know about and then they get really good. So why the first cruiserweight one was so good.
Yes, they had the best cruiserweights in it, yeah.
They had the best cruiserweights. That's why the super welters is really good, because they're all fucking shit hot.
Super lightweights, do you mean?
Super lightweight, sorry. So, bring on the light heavies, man. It'd be such a great fucking tournament to do the light heavies.
It would,
but hey, why don't we do one? We'll do it, and we'll promise to have those contracts watertight.
I'll draw them up myself. Download a template off the internet.
Just fill in bits.
Boxing tournament contract, watertight. Look, see what comes up.
Just Eddie Hearn's face. Right. Right. Well, then let's move on. Andy, do you want to tell me what grinds your gears this week?
You know what really grinds my gears?
I do, and I will. I was gonna maybe do a floats my boat because I liked Wallin's very game effort. I thought he was. I thought he fought his big Swedish heart out. So I big props to him. Although clearly with a sort of a limited boxing ability, really, he was still very very competitive in game. Anyway, so I was gonna do that, but then I changed my mind on a related note, and I'm gonna go. I grinds my gears instead. Fury's face has had to be reconstructed so it's not hanging all over the place, and he may or may not be ready for a fight in February with Wilder, but there's absolutely no prospect that Wilder fights in probably what will be reasonably to be expected a fairly grueling affair against Ortiz, which is currently penciled in for November, the end of November, and then is going to fight Fury in February. So this is like an exercise in fiction that those two are going to fight in February. There's just absolutely no prospect of that happening. So people keep referring to like the fact that the fight is sealed and signed. There's no way unless he doesn't fight Ortiz, which apparently is already confirmed but not confirmed. There's absolutely no prospect of them fighting in February, and I don't understand why they're still kind of floating this about as if there is a prospect of it happening when the prospect of it happening is actually nada. Of course. So this is winding me up. It's winding me up. People are still talking about it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be fucking February. It's going to be like May
at the earliest.
Yeah, probably.
At the earliest.
So, simple. That's winding me up this week. Lots of chat. February fight, Fury, Wilder, not happening. Shut up. So, very simple. So from your side, Ryan, you've been scouring the news this week. Can you tell me, is there something in particular that's been grinding your gears?
You know what really grinds my gears?
Right, Andy. I'm going to tell you what's grinding my gears this week. Okay,
please do.
And it was when I started watching the Tyson Fury Otto Wallin fight.
Okay,
it's when they announced that it was for the lineal championship. Okay, and this winds me up so badly because it's just not right. And like, I'm pretty sure, like, I really want like the Transnational Boxing Rankings Board to just every time this comes out, just to go, we don't have a lineal champion in the heavyweight division at the moment because like he vacated it on October 18th, 2016. Like he vacated it, he retired. He was away from the division for 3 years and didn't fight a single person. He is no longer the lineal champion. We don't have one. And this is now turned into like a marketing trick because he doesn't have any belts. Are you trying to tell me that if for whatever reason Otto Wallin won that fight, which he came close to do, we'd instantly now be talking about Otto Wallin, the lineal champion?
It seems absolutely ridiculous.
Honestly. Exactly. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Right? And it's just because he doesn't have any belts. And none of the fights are for a belt, so they try and make it for something like bigger. and it's not, right? And like, I don't know, like we need to get an SEO guy on to the Transnational Boxing Ranking Board website, okay? So that actually when you like type lineal champion, they come up first as like, we are the people who decide what a lineal champion is. Or like if you type in Tyson Fury lineal champion, like one of those pop-up boxes comes up and it says, no, Tyson Fury is not the lineal champion.
No results found.
No results found. Do you know what I mean? Like shit like that, because actually it's just winding me right up, man. You know?
And so it
should. And whenever you get people on like fucking Twitter and shit, and they're like, he is the lineal champion. It's like, well, no, he isn't, because he vacated his title. And they're like, oh yeah, but he retired for like all of 3 minutes. Well, no, he didn't. He fucking retired, and he also had a drugs ban. Let's not forget that. So what, is it okay, you're still a lineal champion if you have a drugs ban?
No, exactly, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. We've gone over it at length, but yeah, it was, at that point, it was, you know, he announced his retirement. He, in one eloquent Twitter user's terminology, pissed hot. And he walked away from the sport for however long. So yeah, that was it. Ciao. You're out. You're lineal no more. You're ex-lineal. Just call him that. Why don't they call him an ex-lineal champion, Tyson Fury?
Exactly. So anyway, that's what's winding me up.
Good.
Right. Good stuff. So next week we might have something really special for you. So please listen out. Even though there aren't any results, we're still not going to let you down. But with that in mind, it is goodbye from me, Ryan.
And goodbye from me, Andrew.